What's going on, guys? So it's been a while since I made a video, and today I wanted to do a quick video on this thing. This is the Lansky turnbox system, and about a year ago I did a video review on this thing, and in that video review I said that this is probably the best beginner knife sharpening system that you can buy. Now I wanted to clarify that statement a little bit. The first thing is this is not for giant kitchen knives, and it is not for giant outdoor EDC, or this is not an EDC knife. It's not for giant outdoor blades. This is for EDC knives. If you have a handful of EDC knives that you want to sharpen and maintain, then this Lansky system is definitely capable of doing that. And I'm again going to say that it's probably the best beginner system that you can buy. So one thing I want to do real quick in this video is show you, I think, what is the correct way to use this, or the most efficient way to use this, and I guess the way to get the best results out of this system. So the knife I'm going to be sharpening is this. This is the Spyderco Centofonte. I believe they still make it. If they do, I will link it down below. This is VG10 steel. Let's see if I can get this. They're gonna come through. VG10. It says right there. It's not the hardest steel in the world to sharpen by any stretch of the imagination. It's actually a really easy steel to sharpen, but that does not take away from the Lansky. I don't know which way is what. This Lansky system will definitely sharpen S30V and just about every other knife steel. The harder the steel is, obviously, the longer it's going to take to sharpen in most cases. The rods in this are actually ceramic. And ceramic will cut just about any steel. I'm going to be starting on the coarsest rods, which you should always start on the coarsest rods if your knife is actually dull and doesn't just need a honing. The next thing that I'm going to do is clamp this thing down with a clamp. This is probably, actually you can't sharpen in the way that I'm going to show you without a clamp. This thing has to be clamped down. If you don't have a clamp, go buy one. They're like $3 or $4 at Walmart, and they'll do the job nicely. Or you can put 2 screws in, just angle them in here each way. Don't screw through the actual edge of the thing. Screw it into your bench or into a block of wood or whatever. There's always a way that you can figure out to clamp this down, but you don't want this thing wobbling all over the place as you're trying to sharpen. Everybody's favorite part. You can literally see that this edge has been flattened completely. As far as the angles go, I like 20 degrees. Honestly, if your knife does not or is not capable of holding an edge at 20 degrees, then the steel, there's something wrong with the steel. Almost any modern steel should be able to hold an edge at 20 degrees if you're doing regular knife stuff. Obviously, if you're, I don't know, trying to cut through a nail or something, or a staple, you might have problems at 20 degrees. But for most everyday tasks, 20 degrees should not give you a problem. If you find your edge is rolling at 20 degrees, or you've got some weird stuff going on at 20, you can take it to 25, but in my opinion 25 is just not necessary anymore. But again, that's just my opinion. Even my Spyderco Tenacious with 8CR13 MOV that everybody hates so much is capable of holding a decent edge at 20 degrees. Alright, so what I'm going to show you here is going to be the secret, if you would say such a thing, in order to use this thing correctly, or really any sharpening system correctly, and that is exactly how to maintain an angle. Exactly how to maintain an angle. Exactly how to maintain an angle. I believe that Lansky kind of shows you holding this system with one hand and using the other hand. I don't really like doing that. I actually like using this whole process from here on out is going to look really weird and maybe a little stupid, and make sure that nobody sees you doing it. Because it actually looks really stupid too, but it works. I'm telling you, it works. Grab the knife with both hands and brace your arms against your body like this. I know it looks weird and it sounds weird, but it works. The better you maintain your angle on this system or any system, the sharper your knife is going to be. We're just going to start profiling. Now the one thing here is be very careful at the top and at the bottom. You don't want to just whip the tip of the knife off the bottom of the sharpening rod real quickly. That will actually kind of mess up the tip of your knife. So be very controlled and very precise. Now Now, as far as pressure, I'm using quite a bit of pressure here because I'm trying to remove metal. Our whole goal here is to apex and bring both sides of the knife to a complete point in the middle, and you can't do that without removing metal. We already removed a bunch of metal on our dulling cut. We need to remove metal off of each side of the knife to bring that apex in. So hopefully everybody kind of understands this process of it doesn't matter what you do, if you're not maintaining your angle perfectly, you're going to have a hard time on any sharpening system. So I've done about 10 passes on one side, and I'll go ahead and do 10 on the other. I'm kind of positioned weird because of my light up here, but it's like 100 degrees in here, so I'm like sweating like crazy. But one thing that everybody always asks me is, how do you know when to switch sides? Well, basically, just look at the blade. It's literally as simple as that. Your whole goal is to try and make the bevel on each side of the knife as even as possible along the entire edge. If you look at the knife and you realize that you may be removing a little bit more metal on one side, then flip it over and keep that bevel the same width all the way down the length of the blade on the other side. Now, you can apex a knife just by sharpening one side of the knife, but the bevels aren't going to be even. You're going to have a tiny bevel on one side and a big bevel on the other. The better you get, the easier it's going to be to just kind of take the knife off the stone or the Lansky, look at it and say, yeah, I need to remove a little bit of metal on one side versus the other. You'll start to see a little bit of metal building up on these rods. All you have to do is rotate it just a tiny little bit and you're back on track. Another angle that you need to pay attention to with the Lansky is your angle back and forth like this. If you start wandering this way, you're going to get off your angle. Again, if you're wandering this way, you're going to change the angle. So keep this thing as locked in as you possibly can. So I'm just doing light alternating passes. We've apexed, and doing alternating passes like this is the best way that you can remove any burr that is formed if you don't have a strop. And we're not using a strop here, so we'll just do alternating passes. Just kind of talked myself into a circle there. So there it is. That's straight off of the fine stones. Honestly, I probably could get a little bit more out of it if I spent a little bit more time, but even straight off of the fine or the coarse rods, the thing will shave hair no problem. You could take this on to a multitude of strops and get this thing hair whittling sharp, but to just demonstrate the point and why I said that this was such a good system for beginners, I think this demonstrated it fairly well. So again, this thing is not the end-all be-all sharpening system. It does have its limitations, which are going to be longer blades, giant knives. It's not going to be great for this. If your knives are EDC type knives, 3 inches or under, the Lansky is going to be a good system for you. I'll leave a link to this and the knives and stuff down below. So let me know what your thoughts are. If you've used this thing before, let me know if you have other techniques that would be helpful for other people. Leave all your comments and suggestions down below, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.